welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, the Odd. We're your host, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so we're back on the Hammer train, and this time it's from 1971, and the next one we're watching is Twins of Evil, the third in the Karnstein trilogy, of which there's 4 films, maybe. I'm not sure yet. So this is the third in the trilogy, Twins of Evil. What do you think of this one?
I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
It was much more tame than some of the other Karnstein films.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it upped the exploitation quite a bit. It wasn't, the lesbian stuff was pretty much removed apart from maybe.
Yeah, I'd hope so, considering they're sisters.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You know, there's it's still he's Count Karnstein is one of the main characters in it, so it's still there. And Mikala
shows up
very briefly. I misremembered. I thought she appeared at the end in the finale with all the fighting, but she doesn't. So I must remember this. Now, interestingly, they had identical twins in this, played by the first Playboy Playmate identical twins to ever appear in Playboy, Mary and Madeline Collinson. They were British. They were British Maltese, I think, half Maltese, half British. They appeared in Playboy they were the very first identical twins in Playboy. They weren't bad considering they're not actresses. They're not bad actually. Interesting that not much of the Hammer was in this in terms of directors and music and stuff. It still looked like a Hammer film, but it was like the director. I don't know that director. John Howe. Tudor Gates, I recognise that name. He's written a few other screenplays I think we've seen. And the music...
John Howe did mostly TV stuff.
Okay.
Lots of The Avengers.
Okay. And, maybe it was cheap, I suppose.
True.
And the music was by someone called Harry Robertson. Again, not the usual Hammer music. Much more sort of adventure... swashbuckly kind of music than horror, wasn't it? There was a few minor chords in there.
Yeah, though he has done the previous ones. He did Vampire Lovers, Lust for a Vampire.
Okay, Strange Love. Now, this actually was distributed in the US.
He also did Hulk the Slayer. Wow. Okay.
Oh, man. Well, I underestimated him, man. That's a classic. Yeah. So, you know. All props to him. In fact, the music to this could have worked in Hulk the Slayer, I've got to say. It was very swashbuckly. So when this was released in the US, it was released as a double bill with another Hammer film. The next one we're going to be doing, actually, called Hands of the Ripper. So those two went out. So this is set in the 17th century Styria, where everyone talks the Queen's English.
Yeah.
So these two sisters, whose parents, Maria and Frida, whose parents have died a few months before, from Venice. So they've moved into basically a backwater, right? Because they've got all the glamorous outfits.
Out to Styria.
Yeah.
So.
And their oh man, I'll tell you what, Peter.
Their uncle is...
Everyone's a bad guy in this,
yeah,
right?
everyone's awful, except maybe Anton.
Yeah, Anton's alright. And
he's
Maria's
just like, please
all right.
Stop killing people. We can do this properly. Like, God damn it. It's like, we just burn this woman who we ran down in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so if you actually think about it, we're going to be spoiling the plot, but yeah, we always do with this, right? The title doesn't quite work, does it? Because the twins aren't evil.
One's evil.
One's not evil. Someone has suggested the twins of evil are actually Gustav and the Count. But that's just goofy,
okay.
Right? Now, interestingly, Peter Cushing is riding around as a Puritan. Puritans were never in Central Europe, right? Puritans are this side of Europe, Britain, and a few other countries near Britain. But they did. I'm pretty sure they never got to steer. Anyway, cool outfits, I suppose. And these blokes are nutcases. They just the Brotherhood is called.
Yeah,
I mean, they're proper.
They ride to a house and they get disappointed. They can't just burn this woman, and they literally go, "She's just a woman that lives on her own. She must be a witch."
Witch, yeah. She refuses to take her husband. I hear she takes many husbands. All that kind of stuff, right? Anyway, he's a real god botherer. Is Gustav, and his missus is putting up with it, but their nieces turn up, and they're wearing colourful outfits, and Gustav's absolutely disgusted because they should be in mourning clothes. Because the parents are only dead for 2 months, which is all right. Yeah, that's about right for that part of the world. Yeah. For that time. But also we got old Count Karnstein kind of living out. In fact, the Brotherhood encounter him, don't they?
Yeah, they're trying to go to a place to burn.
A woman they hear has many husbands, and the old the Count's there, and he's saying, "Yeah, no, go. She's under my protection. All this, go away." And at one point, Gustav kind of aims a gun at the Count. He's not messing about, is he? And he's the Count's got a manservant, a big black muscle man fella called Joachim, right? Who stands in the way of this guy. And I can believe this guy probably.
Now, you have seen this guy in something else.
Yes, I have. I have. I've seen him in a few things in British TV. I think it's been in Doctor Who, but Live and Let Die. Yes, right?
He was in the Tomb of the Cybermen.
Right. He was also Quirrell Jr. in Live and Let Die.
A few years. Know that bit.
Yeah,
I clicked on it and it's like him in Curse of the Cybermen, Tomb of the Cybermen.
Yeah. He's been in a few Doctor Who's, I think, and he's been in a few other British TV shows. But I think this and Live and Let Die might be his only film credits, and he's alright. I quite like him. There's a bit towards the end that made me laugh, which we'll talk about involving him, because he can't talk. It appears, right? He can't talk, but he's the Count's loyal manservant. And then the Count's like, "Go on, take her if you want her," and it's Helga or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But they're tempted, but they just ride off in the end, don't they? But they do burn women throughout this film.
They go chase down some other woman. They're like, "Oh, there's some woman picking flowers. Get her!"
Yeah,
charge after her.
Yeah, that looked quite dangerous. And they just burn her because she's walking along a road at night or day for night or something. These guys are mental. There's quite a lot of exciting horse work in this, isn't there? There's these guys galloping about all over the place. Meanwhile, the Count has he's got this little manservant played by Dennis Price, who's been in a lot of films, called Dietrich, who has kind of arranged this black mass thing with all these guys.
He's arranged like a fake black mass.
Yeah, they're not actually doing anything. They're just playing at it, and the Count's like, "Hey, my ancestors," looks up their pictures, points at their pictures. "They did it for real. They didn't mess about with all this nonsense. Get out of here. Leave the girl." Right? Yeah. So, and he sacrifices her.
Do it, and then Mikala shows up.
Well, what happens is he sticks a knife in her, and the blood drips through the altar. Yeah. Drips into the crypt below, where we see a shrouded body and blood dripping on it. Presumably that's Mikala's bones, and it revives that. And then he starts making out with his granny or whatever Mikala is. That is nuts. I mean, I can't figure out what's worse. She's dead.
Yeah.
It's his granny or ancient ancestor, and they're getting it on. It's whoa, okay. There's a fair bit of cleavage and boobies in this film. There's
a lot of exposure.
I quite like Peter Cushing in this because he's entirely unsympathetic.
Oh yeah, he's just a frothing madman.
Yeah, he's a right dick. I think someone else was lined up to play this role, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But I think he did a great job. Apparently Ingrid Pitt was offered the role of Mikala, but turned it down. And, she was barely in it. Maybe if Ingrid Pitt had accepted, they had a bigger part lined up. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah. So essentially, Mikala turns up and turns the Count into a vampire. Now, some interesting vampire lore in this. They're walking around in daylight.
Yeah, they just kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah, and they actually specifically say the only things that can kill us are a stake through the heart or a beheading.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Wow, the unique killing things are killing a vampire. Wow, a stake.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
stab them or cut their head off.
Frida sees this kind of young, good-looking count who's... and she's got a touch of the devil in her. She's kind of interesting, right? Whereas Maria's kind of, no. This kind of stuff.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. The wife is also obviously put upon, the wife of Gustav, because she's trying to mediate between the two. Gustav's just disgusted with them. And it's interesting, there's a little talk between the two girls. One goes, I bet he's the kind of man that'll come into this room for any excuse. Just to see us, and Maria's like, what do you mean? It's like interesting bit of dialogue that is. Meanwhile, Frida's looking out at the castle, which you can clearly see from the village. It's not that far, and through the moonlight, and kind of I really want to. The thing I want most is to come talk to the count. Meanwhile, Anton, who's a schoolmaster teaching young girls. So there is a tiny tie-in with
loosely, yeah,
very loose. And his sister, he's got a sister. He's kind of interested in Frida, isn't he? Cause, and
they actually talk about how different the two are.
Yeah, they do.
Frida will be exciting, but Maria would be loving.
Yeah, so. Maria's a much nicer person, but. He likes the bad girls. It feels to me.
But he very quickly gets put off the bad girls, let's be very clear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the Count's a vampire. Then Frida goes up to the castle, doesn't she? She freaks out. Maria covers up by pretending to be her, and she knows she's going to get beaten by Gustav at some point. And then there's a girl sitting... Is it Helga again, or whatever? Heidi? I can't remember what her name is.
There's lots of one-off women that get killed.
Yeah, but he asks what she thinks of Frida, and she said she's all right. And it's like, and it's a bit. It reminded me of Rocky Horror Picture Show, where it says, "Is it Rocky Magnificent?" And was it Magenta? Or no, Columbia, or whatever her name says. He's all right. It reminded me of that. All right.
Yeah.
And the Count basically ties her up in the cellar, right, for saying that. Then he talks to old Frida about being a vampire, and he shows her by showing her a mirror where you can't see him. Tell her he's a vampire and all this. Anyway, he gives her the bite, and then he offers the girl chained up in the cellar to her, who she bites on the breast. So that's like the small token nod to the lesbianism of the previous two films, I think. I'm surprised you thought this was tamer than the other ones, because it felt like they were going full exploitation in this one.
In terms of like the horror and the nastiness sort of thing, not necessarily the sexy stuff, because I've kind of become like jaded to it at this point.
Yeah, they are looking very dated.
It's Hammer and they've got their tits out, and
you got to remember that this was competing with the likes of The Wicker Man and Blood on Satan's Claw. It really was tame compared to what else was around.
Yeah.
So Al, there's one point that's kind of a shock, really. That where the Brotherhood bring a body into the school, and Anton's going, no, you can't do this, and I forbid it. And Gustav says, look, teacher, and learn, and pulls the sheet back, and his sister's dead with 2 big puncture wounds in her neck. Yeah. Just brings his sister into this girls' school, right?
Delightful.
What the hell? Oh dear.
Hey.
Say what you like. I'll tell you what, I thought this was a pretty high energy film. I wasn't bored at any point. How did you feel about it?
I'd agree, but only for Peter Cushing. He's full on throwing everything into his performance, and the others are sort of like, well, I must do this ritual and then do this, but Mother will see. And
I quite like Karnstein, the actor playing Karnstein. He was all right. I thought he was okay as the head vampire. But yeah, you're right. It was Cushing's film. This Cushing's the powerhouse that drives this film, and it's worth seeing just for Cushing. How do you compare it to which one of the three do you like best?
I think I liked the second one.
Lust for a Vampire. It was Vampire Lovers.
The one
Lust
where there was the whole vampire family.
Yeah. With the song "Strange Love," that one.
Yeah, except for the Strange Love sequence. But, if I remember correctly, Camilla Milcala was kind of split on whether she wanted to be. Well, she had a character in that one.
Yeah, in this she's
the
just a face.
Did something.
Yeah.
Instead of this, where it's just like, I want to be evil, and I'm evil. Yeah. Character arc over in like 2 scenes. And it's just evil for the rest of it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised. I would have thought you'd have liked this better, but fair enough. I like this better, so maybe I'm just It's a reflection of what I think. Everyone should agree with me, right? That's what it.
Well, the thing is, the titular twins didn't do anything. They look good. They look good. They basically showed up and were plot devices for the other characters to use. The only character that actually really did anything was Anton. Well, characters were Anton and Gustav. Yeah. Gustav basically never gets demonstrated as wrong during his entire thing. He's doing horrifying things, but they're never like, no,
Anton's the only one who pulls him up on it, isn't it? Right? And Anton's like the moral centre of this.
And they just keep beating the shit out of him whenever he tries to debate against them.
Yeah. Gustav and the Brotherhood are just a nightmare to deal with, frankly. I like it because it's interesting. There's no real, honestly, they're both terrible groups of people. The vampires and the Brotherhood, right? They're just terrible groups of people. But in the end, basically they figure out the Brotherhood are onto them, and they come up with a plot where Frida and Maria get swapped.
Yeah, they deliberately swap.
They know that Frida's a vampire, right?
They've caught Frida, so they swap them so that they've got Maria, and they're going to burn the girl. So. Yeah,
and they put Frida goes into Maria's bed, and Maria's chained up in a dungeon. Doesn't say a word in any defense in any way, right?
Yeah. They don't even try. She doesn't even try. She's just like wakes up in a dungeon, is like, oh no.
And her uncle's about to burn her at the stake. In fact, one of the Brotherhood say, let me do it. He goes, no, I must do it. And just about going there, there's a torch gets thrown in the middle, and his Anton is saying, no, that's we should have said earlier he went to visit Maria, who took all her clothes off immediately. Yeah. So we knew it wasn't Maria. But then he didn't realise. He was like, oh, she's naked, you know.
Then he
being a man,
with a cross, if I remember correctly.
Well, he sees a reflection, doesn't he? And realizes
that's it. He sees that there's no reflection,
and she's attacking him, and he manages to grab a cross and ward her off. And then he goes and saves Maria, who the Brotherhood think is Frida, and they say, no, she's not a vampire. Try the cross, and she kisses the cross, right? So that shows she's not a vampire, right? So then we have a proper torch-wielding mob of mostly the Brotherhood attacking the castle. And the Count's like, let them cut. We know that Joachim turns up and he goes and trying to warn him. And he goes, let them cut. What are they going to do? And Joachim starts in an elaborate mime. That made me laugh a lot. It was like indicating they got stakes and swords.
And they've got axes.
And for some reason, the Count gets annoyed and slaps Frida to the floor for no obvious reason I can think of. Maybe for the trailer. I don't really know. But then picks her up and says, okay, we're going to catacombs. Anyway, they're trying to sort of figure it out. But this was like boss move. Old Frida bumps into Gustav, who immediately chops her head off. One swoop. Immediately. There's no messing about. And it's like, whoa.
But then he tries to move again on the Count, who basically just chucks him off a balcony and kills him.
Yeah, and there's a bit of axe work. And in fact, doesn't the Count sort of tempt, because he says, one blow is all you get, one chance right here, and across his neck. And for some reason, he throws the axe sideways, so it's not even across. So there's absolutely no way he would have done that. And then the Count doesn't he throw the axe at him as well? Isn't the axe in his back, and then he throws him off the balcony? But someone in the Brotherhood, was it Anton or was it someone in the...
Anton chucks a spear at him.
Oh, it was Anton who threw the spear, which goes into his chest, and then he starts just decomposing, even though he's like about a 2-week-old vampire. He sort of goes to dust. And the castle burns, and and they also stake Joachim through the chest. There's no messing about there. That's bloody as hell.
That's really the only major bit of hammer blood in this.
Yes.
Like, we get the sacrifice, but then it's just Joachim getting stabbed.
It's a lot of burning and praying. And all that. Yeah, but Joachim's the only... Apart from the girl he ritually murders, there's some Kensington gore dripping through the cracks, was Joachim getting staked. You're quite right. So... pretty pacey. Oh, also, we should have mentioned Dietrich gets the bite off Frida, doesn't he? And he gets killed. The two. He is in the woods, and for some reason he gets kind of dizzy and sees two of her, which I think is... I think was for the trailer again. I can't see any reason for that. So we get the old Karnstein's up to no good in this. That's basically it. I thought it was pretty punchy. Wasn't bored. Quite enjoyed it. I think old Damien Thomas, I think his name was, who played Karnstein, looked the part. He wasn't the best actor, but he was all right. He was probably hamming it up. But I mean, Cushing's film, innit? It's Cushing film.
Yeah.
All the way.
Cushing. Well, as always, he dominated the film.
Yeah. So. And that outfit was quite strong, and the whole Brotherhood thing was quite an interesting theme. And in a more detailed screen, it could have been even more interesting, to be honest. But they were just burning women, any woman they could find. They just did not care. And they kept going about the deaths in the village, and it's like. Yeah, but you're killing.
There's so many deaths around here. It's like that's you. You're doing this.
Yeah, that's you.
Do you not know you're doing what?
Oh no, all the deaths. It's South Park. No. Okay, all right. Let's write. Anything else to add?
Nah.
I think the direction was all right. It was pacey. There was a lot of handheld here and there. And it didn't shy away when it got bloody, really. Yeah. Well, they were fast cuts, but it went on and on. I just like the fact that Peter Cushing did not mess about. As soon as he found his niece, he chopped her head off. That was it.
Yeah.
Man. Whoa, one sweep as well. Yeah. Okay, all right, let's rate this one. What would you give this one?
I'd give this about a 4 or 5. Like it was not.
Out of 10. 4 or 5 out of 10. Okay, I'll give it a solid 7. Maybe even higher, actually. I really quite enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. Punchy, too. I think it was only 80-odd minutes. I could be wrong. So, yeah, good fun one. All right, then. So next time we do Hammer, it'll be Hands of the Ripper, which is about Jack the Ripper. Believe it or not. Okay. Interesting. All right, then.
That's a 2-line plot summary on Wikipedia. I just clicked on it to see who directed it. Plot is only like 2 lines. Okay.
Yeah. It's a quality film. I know I keep saying this, and it turns out I'm wrong, but this is quite a good one, if I remember right. But it's been many years since I've seen it. All right, then let's wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.